two things. One, you decided to go back to Arsenal this season. Why? And did you enjoy it?
First of all, I worked always, and I stayed for a long time without the resources, because it is in my character. I was happy to work for something that was bigger than me. And I felt that if I could leave a legacy to build the training ground, build the stadium, have a fantastic academy, the guys who come after me can work in decent conditions. When I left, the money situation was clear and positive. And so overall, I always thought when I worked as a manager at Arsenal, I would love to come back sometime, watching the game as a fan, and being relaxed and not tense.
Were you relaxed?
No, I was not. But,
Okay.
And I felt somewhere I have to do that.
I think you were right. I think you would have regretted not going back.
To finish that story well,
yes,
I had to do that. You know?
So, do you think Arsenal would have built that new stadium without you? How central were you to that?
That would be a bit. I encouraged the club to do it, and it cost 200 million more than we expected it to be. What I must say that we were blocked. We could only spend 50% of the turnover on wages.
You could only spend 50% of the turnover on wages. Okay, so
for example, if the turnover was 500 million, we could only dedicate 250 million
to wages.
So we had always to sell our best players, because the best players want to
have money.
But how central were you to getting the funds? How much commitment did the banks want to see from you to the project?
They wanted me to sign at the start at that period for 5 years, and I always found, I felt always it was something special at Arsenal that I was proud to represent and to defend. On the other hand, I have in my mind loyalty is very important, and I felt always you cannot ask for the players to be loyal if you jump out at the first offer that you get. So overall, I'm very happy, because I lived with what I thought was important for me in my life, and I could.
Sorry to keep going back over ground that you've just offered, but what you're saying is, before they lent Arsenal the money, the banks wanted to know.
One of the conditions was that they wanted technical stability, and we were doing well. That was, we moved out in 2006. We started to speak about the new stadium 2002, 2003. To find the site. And all
but
that.
You had to commit to 5 years before Arsenal got the money.
It was part of the conditions, yes.
So how much did it hurt then that during that period of evolution you were getting as much criticism as you were? You couldn't spend what you wanted on players, and you couldn't take offers from Barcelona, for instance, because you were committed to the project.
Yes, but I accepted that, because as I told you, I was working in my head for something that was bigger than me, and I had to do well. You look, despite that, we stayed 20 years in the top four. And you look at the clubs who do it in England, there's none. Even now, Ferguson did it as well, but no other club stayed 20 years in the Championship.
So it quite literally was the stadium that Arsene built?
Yes.
I would say that we had to sell the players and buy cheaper, and we managed to keep. What was funny, because we kept basically percentage-wise the same percentage of win, but we could not win the big games anymore.
There's
the
a difference,
games that mattered.
That's the difference, isn't it?
That's the difference.
The class. The top players you have to sell. You replace them with slightly less. You don't win the big games.
You don't win.
So would you have swapped that 5 years and the evolution that came with it for staying at Highbury and winning big games? Or was it absolutely necessary for Arsenal to make that move?
Arsenal had at the time 38,000 people, 40,000, over 40,000 on the waiting list, and so how could you turn down people the opportunity to have to come to the game?
But you knew then in moving you weren't going to win big games, because the quality of the top players
Richard,
was not the same.
I thought that was the best for the club, and I told you I wanted to do what was the best for the club. My situation was I thought I will always find a way to win football games, you know. And of course it became more difficult, but overall we have won many games.
So when you finished and you won 3 FA Cups in your last 4 years, was that as satisfying as probably winning what you did early in your career?
Because we won FA Cups against playing against City in the semi-final, Chelsea in the final, and it was, of course, after a while, at the start we win trophy after trophy, and after a while you don't win. People say, okay, finishing the top 4 is not enough, but we finished 5 times second, 5 times third, and it was not enough, but now it is enough, you know. It's always, people want always more, what is normal, what I accept completely. And if you win the league every year, they will want to win the league and the cup. If you want the Champions League, they want to win it again. So this is normal. The demand is normal, and the high expectation level is normal. But because we created a high expectation level, of course, people do not want.
But there must
less.
have been times when you thought to yourself during that initial 5 years, I'm getting battered here, and my team now can't do what I wanted it to do previously. There's no way out because I'm committed. I'm committed to 5 years, but wouldn't half like a crack at Barcelona or
somebody like that,
Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. We're all human. I know what you said about wanting for the greater good.
Yeah, I turned
deep
Real
down, there must have
Madrid
been something
down, I turned Juventus down, turned Paris Saint-Germain down, and I can the English national team down, the French national team down, to do it. But at the end of the day, I believe that I did what was important to me in my life. After, you have to let people judge what you do. I mean, I was in a public job, but my conscience was clear and my way to act and to behave was clear. And I'm basically thankful for that, for having done it, because it's funny today, so many people come to see me and say thank you for what you have done for the club, because they understand.
So they should.
Yeah, so they should.
No, but they understand that that was my priority, you know, and I believe as well that Arsene is respected all over the world because one of the values that the club came through.